India's #1 news network.
No games, just sports.
Sports coverage levels up with Boria Majumdar on NDTV.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Faultlines. I'm Gaurie, Dwivedi, and in this episode, the focus will be on two clear fault lines. One that binds Turkey and Pakistan squarely against India. The second we will explore is the latest phase, the next phase of the Russia-Ukraine war, and why it is likely to be even more deadly than what it has been for the last 3 years. Viewers, the first story that we focus on is the Nexus that came to fore during Operation Sindoor. India faced a situation of one border with three clear adversaries. It was Pakistan, China and Turkey. And now Pakistan and China nexus is not new, it's known, but in fact it is the one with Turkey that is even more important and needs to be prepared for. The two-front war that India has been preparing for since 2015 has now become a three-front war, and that's the focus on Faultlines today. And as we speak, the Turkish Defense Minister and Turkish Foreign Minister have just concluded their high-profile visit to Pakistan. Now, what's their aim? Their aim is to build a broader pan-Islamic brotherhood that ties the two countries together and possibly to double down on their defense ties. Now, what's at the heart of this? At the heart of this is their anti-India sentiment. Before we go any further, I want to first play out that soundbite of the Turkish Foreign Minister, and then we put all of this in context for you.
We have in Southern Asia. In April-May, there has been tension experienced between Pakistan and India, which we closely followed, and all the international society has seen the wisdom-oriented and calm attitude of Pakistan. This tension has been an important indicator that when two nuclear powers come face-to-face, that this is going to have very severe results. We have actually seen the ceasefire as an important decision, and in order to eliminate similar tensions, we believe that there has to be meaningful and efficient dialogue between the parties. As Turkey, we're always ready to support this so that there will be peace and there will not be any clashes.
All right, that was the soundbite that puts everything in context as to why this visit was so high profile, so important, and the reason why this fault line needs to be decoded. Now, viewers, ever since Erdogan came to power in 2003 in Turkey, Ankara has doubled down on its political Islam, its version of Islam, which of course has anti-India sentiment as at its very core. Now, this version of political Islam will continue to be the force through which Turkey wants to become the leader of the Muslim world. And this report tells you how Turkey and Pakistan have deepened their almost 75-year-old partnership and why this partnership now needs to be decoded in greater detail.
In less than 4 years of its birth, Pakistan, born out of undivided India on the premise of a separate nation for India's 95 million Muslims, signed a treaty with Turkey of eternal friendship. And since then, this alliance has continued to grow. And this alignment isn't theoretical, it's vocal, visible and documented. Only recently, Turkey has repeatedly taken direct aim at India, not just through weapon sales, but also on the world stage. From spinning tall tales against India at the UN to trying to influence the OIC contract group. Fast forward to today, Turkey supplies over 350 drones to Pakistan during its recent standoff with India. Pakistan, in turn, opens up its water for joint gas exploration, and the Chinese, well, they're not just watching, they're weaponizing this axis. Take Gwadar port, for example, a Chinese port in Pakistani hands protected by Turkish drones and positioned directly in India's maritime backyard. Each of them gets something, China tests weapons, Turkey expands influence in the Islamic world, and Pakistan, well, it just survives another day while beating India by proxy.
All right, viewers, that told you the partnership, how it has thrived in the last 75 years. And now it's time to decode what is it that lies ahead. First up, let's talk about the defense partnership, the deepening of the defense ties between Pakistan and Turkey. Now, Turkey is Pakistan's second largest weapon supplier, next only to China. Now, the second important part is that it also supports Pakistan's major naval modernization. There's $1 billion plus deal that is for the corvettes. Then there are upgrades to the Augusta 90B submarines, all that in the pipeline, where the reason Ankara is so important for Islamabad. And third and foremost also is the fact that the Pakistani drone development relies very heavily on Turkish machinery. We've talked about the Bayraktar drones that we saw during Operation Sindoor. The backbone of that is this partnership, which is why this is so important. Now, that's the defense side of it. Let's now also talk about the specific arms sales that could be in the pipeline. This meeting is important. It's likely to have two clear implications. This could be one, the arms sales, the potential arms sales that could be there. Now, in small arms category, it could be the MPT rifles, which will have an impact as far as infantry modernization for Islamabad is concerned. Next could be the tanks that could have a huge boost to the armored capabilities of Pakistan. This could be the Alte MBT category of tanks. And the third and last could be the missiles, which would have a huge impact on the strike and air defense capabilities as far as Turkey is concerned. Now, why this is all important, one needs to also understand from a geopolitical side of it. As far as the defense side of it is concerned, we're going to try and get in my colleague Shivaru to decode this in greater detail. But the most important part one needs to understand is the strategic alignment as far as Pakistan and Turkey is concerned. We spoke about the defense side of it. This is the geopolitical aspect to it as to why this matters. Pakistan backs Turkey when it comes to its Saudi-UAE Muslim rivalry. That's the jostling that has been going on with Erdogan and some of its Gulf neighbors since 2003. And Pakistan helps Ankara there, and which is why this is so important. And the next part is it backs Turkey when it comes to its campaign against Greece in the UN. So this is a symbiotic relationship, viewers, we told you. There is the defense side of it, there's a geopolitical side to it, and the underlying theme and the backbone of that, of course, is the Pan-Islamic Brotherhood. Now, let me now get in my colleague Shivaru to talk more about the impact this has as far as the defense capabilities, the larger messaging. Shiv, we told our viewers as to why this visit is so significant, the importance of it, but help us decode what it could potentially mean from a war preparedness point of view.
This is a very important issue that you've raised, Gaurie, and the reason why the nexus between Pakistan and Turkey is so important is because, remember, Pakistan already has a literally endless supply of weaponry courtesy China. But by liaising with Turkey and as has been demonstrated visibly during Operation Sindoor, Turkey is not just a seller of equipment to Pakistan. There are all those geopolitical and strategic links that you just described. There is the Pan-Islamic Brotherhood that Erdogan has been looking for. But very, very importantly, Turkey's military-industrial complex has actually been remarkably successful. This is a country that's in a bit of the doghouse as far as the United States is concerned, but as a member of NATO, there are many other considerations as far as India is concerned for the fact that Turkey has not only been supplying attack drones to Pakistan, many of which were used mostly unsuccessfully against India during Operation Sindoor. But there are many other pieces of equipment, including possibly attack helicopters, tanks like you just mentioned, other ground equipment, air defense missiles, and other lower cost military hardware could find a very steady and reliable supplier in Turkey as far as Pakistan is concerned. So you have a situation where if hostilities break out, Pakistan can depend not just on China, but also on Turkey. Point number two is Turkey is looking at itself as a kind of rising regional sphere of influence in that area. The sticking point has been Greece. India did its own messaging recently as far as Cyprus is concerned. Ties with Greece have also increased, very much targeted at the manner in which Turkey is now looked at as a combatant and a hostile entity as far as India is concerned, even though we have, close diplomatic relations. But the nexus between China, Pakistan and Turkey is one that needs to be looked at extremely closely. You had India's Deputy Army Chief explicitly call this out recently, which is unprecedented on many levels, but it will remain to be seen how it goes out. Remember, the one thing we'll have to look out is a very volatile, whimsical and unpredictable president sitting in the White House in the United States. And therefore, any actions or any strategies that India espouses or embraces in order to handle this entire nexus is going to be very dependent on what's happening in Washington, D.C.
Absolutely, Shiv. Thanks much for breaking that down for us. NDTV's managing editor Shiv Arur giving us that lowdown in terms of why this is significant and why this is so important. Now, viewers, Turkey isn't just flexing regional muscles. It wants to be the leader of the Muslim world. And to get there, Erdogan needs loyal allies. And in this rivalry with the Saudis, with the Emiratis, it's going to be the Pakistanis and the Malaysians who are going to be handy for Erdogan, which is why these bonds are getting forged over political Islam and their shared hostility towards a Hindu majority but a secular India. Now, what's the plan? The plan is to shout down India, isolate it diplomatically, flood global forums with false narratives. But what's the thorn in their side? Well, a rising, confident India willing to call Turkey's bluff. India backed Cyprus in Erdogan's backyard. It is supporting Armenia against the Turkey-backed Azerbaijan. The message is loud and clear for Erdogan. But India needs to continue with its deft diplomacy, viewers, because it's not just Pakistan. Turkey's tango now extends to Bangladesh, where two defense industrial corridors are on the table and several high-profile visits are also likely. So this nexus that we spoke about, it extends from Pakistan to Turkey to China and possibly to Bangladesh as well. Blinkers, viewers, are finally off. All right, on that note, viewers, a quick break. We return on the other side to talk more about the Russia-Ukraine conflict and the deadly phase it has now entered into.
This is so wild that I actually, from a dream, started a business. I don't think I could ever work for anyone else ever again.
If you won't do it for you, do it for your dog, who's upset you didn't hear his whining.
Book a free hearing test at bootshearingcare.com.
Oh, wasn't he lovely? That young man at Avanti Travel Insurance.
Yeah, very.
He was so reassuring. They covered all our medical conditions, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Your diabetes, my dodgy hip.
And the rest.
Even at your age, love. Oh. Love?
Oh, great.
Oh, love.
Avanti Travel Insurance cover most pre-existing health conditions for all ages. That's travel reassurance. Call or go online.
I knew I should have got the flamingo.
I bought cars on finance, so I've made my claim.
If our lenders charge hidden commissions, then I've made my claim.
I could be owed thousands.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim. It's so quick and simple.
You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from vehicles bought on finance since 2007, even without the details.
I've made my claim.
Trust myclaimgroup.co.uk.
Claims made simple.
Some people think life slows down in your 50s, but I'm just getting started and there's so much that I want to do. And yeah, I'll be retiring in a few years, so it makes sense to plan ahead. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. I know my lot don't need the money, but it's nice to leave a little something to help with funeral costs and other expenses, so they can spend their money on nicer things.
Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period.
Unlike other insurers who can make you wait up to 2 years, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life, so you can just get on with things. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Their claims process is really straightforward, so your loved ones will be looked after. Learning more couldn't be simpler and can be done in just a few minutes. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team who will chat you through your options in just one phone call. Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Get covered in minutes with no annoying trips to the doctor. With fixed monthly payments, prices start at just £4.42 a month.
Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
So stop putting it off and get it done. Then you can get on with doing something much more interesting.
To get a free life insurance quote, call our friendly UK team on 0800 542 1004 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Viewers, the second fault line takes us to the very edge, where all battle lines are blurring and the skies have become the deadliest. Battlefield yet. This is no conventional warfare anymore. This is drone warfare at an unprecedented scale. An air assault that is measured not in missiles, but in swarms. And it's rewriting the rules of modern combat, swarm after swarm of drones and missiles. It's the largest drone attack yet. Russia launched over 700 unmanned weapons across Ukraine, including 300 that were supersonic missiles and supersonic drones that were fired. The target, well, it was not just the Ukrainian cities, but also the air skies, the bases, the energy hubs, all of it, and most importantly, the spirit. Well, Poland scrambled its jets, NATO was forced into complete alert, and once again, the world watched as red lines were once again being tossed and completely being bypassed. The aerospace also was violated. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, in fact, voiced his frustration in terms of why it looks like a possible deal on the table looks farther and farther away than what it did in the 3 years of this war. And we're going to decode that in detail. But first up, I want to play out that soundbite of Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Well, our strategy is to continue to engage all the parties that are involved in finding an outcome to this conflict. We will engage any time that we have an opportunity to do so, like we did today.
It isn't just about territory anymore. It's about a message. It's about telling Ukraine that as it fights back with interceptor drones and mobile squads, they are entering a new phase of a deadly war where speed, scale, and several other matrices are being tested, and they are the new normal. And this report tells you how drone warfare is changing the face of modern battlefield and why the end game may be soon and very soon out of reach as it stands. Take a look at this report.
The skies over Ukraine are no longer just an open space. They are war zones, trapdoors of terror. This week, Russia launched its most massive drone offensive yet. 728 aerial weapons, including decoy drones, surveillance crafts, Shaheds, Kinzhals, and Iskander missiles. The goal? To overwhelm, to outpace, and to outlast. President Zelensky calls it a new era of warfare, where Ukraine's air defenses are being tested not by precision, but by persistence. This is death by 1,000 drones, a tactic where volume substitutes for accuracy and exhaustion becomes a strategy. Ukraine's answer? Interceptor drones, mobile fire teams, and homemade tech from 4 domestic companies designed to match and shoot down incoming waves. But as Zelensky pushes for a scaled-up production, Russia is moving fast, and its targets are more strategic than symbolic. This week's barrage hit Lutsk, near the Polish border. It's a critical lifeline for Western military aid. Poland scrambled its jets, and NATO raised its alert. And while the West hesitated, the war evolved. This is no longer about tanks and trenches. Modern warfare now flies, it buzzes, and it never stops. Now the question is, how long can Ukraine and the world keep up?
This is what we must focus on first. we must stop Russian drones and missiles. And this means more air defense supplies and more investments in interceptor drones, air defense systems, and of course missiles. And I urge all our partners, increase your investments.
All right, viewers, we now talk about how diplomacy is now literally at a knife's edge as things stand right now in this war. And let's put that out because there have been repeated efforts as far as diplomacy and possible peace solutions are concerned. None look feasible right now. And let's put that out for you to understand. Now, first and foremost, they've traded some possible peace ideas. US and Russia, Marco Rubio and Sergei Lavrov, they've discussed some possible peace ideas. Nobody knows as to whether they are palatable on their end or not. So right now, there is no real peace deal on the table. Next up, Donald Trump has actually slammed Putin's, yes, he said that. We've put those asterisks and stars for you to understand. This is what Donald Trump is. He said that in so many words. He's voicing his frustration. This is a president who said that I'm going to end this war in 24 hours. It's nowhere close to actually being possibly ending anytime soon. And that frustration that is being voiced tells you that America is also having its back to the wall, running out of options. Next up, Republican hawks are now rallying behind Donald Trump to be able to, for some tough sanctions against Vladimir Putin. If that happens, look at the huge departure that America itself would have gone in terms of policy, because here Donald Trump was talking about sanctions waiver for Russia, saying that Putin is going to help him solve several problems as far as the Middle East is concerned. Now there's a potential sanctions on the Russian president himself. Listen in to what some of the Republican lawmakers had to say when they were pitching for those tough sanctions.
July is going to be the magic month for bone-crushing sanctions on Vladimir Putin. He better get ready, because his economy, already on its heels, is going to be hit hard by these sanctions.
President Trump has earnestly reached out to Putin. I applaud his efforts to end this brutal bloodbath in Ukraine. But it takes willing partners. Ukraine has been willing, Putin has not.
I think you'll find in the Senate broad support for Ukraine. I think the president trying to be a mediator just simply hasn't had the success that all of us hoped he would have. Now it's time to face the fact that Mr. Putin wants war. He has no intentions of stopping, as many of us have said from day one.
Next, what is the kind of sanctions and tariffs they're looking at? 500% as far as some of those Putin backers are concerned. That tells you nothing but America's frustration, because as I said, there is no peace deal on the table. Let's move ahead and tell some of the other 2 points that tell you why diplomacy is on a knife's edge. Trump blames chaos on own team's missteps. If he feels that things could have turned out differently had they handled the situation better. Lastly, now, Zelensky is pressing for both EU and the US for some sort of an urgent backing. Remember, there's also been back and forth as far as whether or not Ukraine should get weapons. If it's getting weapons back, then look at the kind of departure that the war has itself taken, because Donald Trump said he's not going to give weapons to Ukraine till about 3 weeks back. As I said, diplomacy is on a knife's edge, and let's get in Fred Meyer to talk more about this. He's a journalist joining us from Russia. Mr. Meyer, thanks so much for speaking to NDTV on Faultlines. My question to you, sir, as things stand right now, after the drone attack, it looks like peace is farther away than what it was in the last 3 years.
Well, yes, I think the basic problem here is that Russia is convinced it will win this war in the long run. These massive drone attacks show that its war economy can sustain the production of these new weapons at such an astronomical scale. And the Russians have spelled out their war objectives rather clearly in several occasions. Putin, his foreign minister, other officials have made it really clear what their bottom line war objectives are. And the Trump idea is, and Ukraine hopes that Trump can do this, he will step in, use his influence with Putin to obtain concessions for Ukraine that Ukraine couldn't win on the battlefield. So I think in the past week or so, the conversation with Trump and Putin made it clear that he is not backing down on any of his major war objectives. Either they will be delivered over a negotiating table, or Russia will hang in and win them on the battlefield. So that is where things stand, and I think that we can only look for greater escalations of the war in the weeks to come.
All right, let's leave it there. Mr. Fred Weyer, thanks so much for speaking to us. Hopefully the next time we'll talk about more peace options rather than battlefield really providing all the solutions. Well, viewers, as things stand right now, where does this all end? Well, as of now, there are no answers. 3 years into this war, battlefield has changed beyond recognition. Trump is frustrated with Putin, and Republican lawmakers are begging for more sanctions. But what's at stake here is political capital of Donald Trump and political capital of Vladimir Putin. And as things stand, neither of them are backing down. Both feel that they can extract the best deal on the table. Unfortunately, there isn't one right now that is on the table. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Faultlines. I'm going to leave it there, and we're going to come back next week with another fault line, another detail that needs to be decoded in much more insight. Thanks so much for watching this episode.
Sometimes it's the little things that remind us of them. Stay close, even when you're far apart. Send money worldwide with Remitly.
OK, we know this isn't your dog. If this were your dog, he'd want you to know he was upset with you last night when you were watching TV at full volume. You didn't hear him whining, and he was devastated. All he wanted was tummy rubs and for you to get a hearing test. Book a free test today at bootshearingcare.com. And now that you can hear him, he's one happy pup.
If you won't do it for you, do it for them. You could have better hearing in just a week. Boots, with you for life.
It's great to be helping out before my first grandchild arrives. And after having a few repairs myself, I need to make sure they'll all be protected. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK. UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
Wow, that money could help with funeral costs or as a gift for my grandkid. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
He's going to be named after his granddad.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free life insurance quote today, call our UK team on 0800 470 4444 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
Fancy a free game? Beat the banker in Tombola's daily free Deal or No Deal game. There's up to £1,000 to be won. Play for free every day.
Dealing with my lot means making smart choices. And with our family growing, I want to protect the life we've built. That's why I'm calling Smart Insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
OK, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age.
Brilliant.
If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought, and could help my husband pay off the mortgage.
With our Smart Family Guarantee, you'll have peace of mind.
I'll go ahead.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cashback on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free life insurance quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 5753 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Faultlines with Gaurie Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
Sleepless for sports. We are reloading sports NDTV style. With the biggest comeback this season, India's OG sports journalist on India's #1 news network.
No games, just sports.
Sports coverage levels up. with Boria Majumdar on NDTV.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Faultlines with Gaurie Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
"25-year-old tennis player shot dead by her father." Now, the accused father has been produced in court. Was he upset over her appearance in a music video or not closing down the tennis academy that she was running? That's the big question. Of course, the father had gone on to say that, he was being taunted for living off her money is what led him to shooting her. 5 times over, 3 of those bullets landed in her back while she was cooking breakfast. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah speaks exclusively to NDTV, says that if he didn't have the support of the High Command, he would not be able to continue in his position as the Chief Minister of the state. He intends to be there in that seat for his full term of 5 years.
The MLA selected me, High Command asked me to become the Chief Minister, so I am continuing.
And both Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar returning to Bengaluru today without meeting with Rahul Gandhi. Why is Rahul Gandhi avoiding the two leaders is the big question. Mohan Bhagwat's leaders should retire at 75. That comment has sparked a row, with the Congress party using that remark to take a jibe at the Prime Minister, reminding that the Prime Minister is turning 75 in the month of September this year. And this is the Sena MLA's regional bias that has been exposed after having no sign of regret or remorse, and after walking out of that interview with Shivarur at NDTV without answering those tough questions. Now he is also targeting and creating that North-South divide. He's targeting the Shetty community from Karnataka, trying to bring in that Maharashtra versus South divide, saying that it's the people of the Shetty community that is in fact ruining the culture of Maharashtra. Comedian Kapil Sharma's cafe attacked in Canada, and it is his team that is saying that while they're trying to process this shock, they're also not going to give up. While Khalistani terrorists has taken responsibility of the attack that took place, multiple rounds of there was firing right outside that restaurant that only opened a week back. Adani Group Chairman Gautam Adani addressed the 5th annual conference of Society for Minimal Invasion Spine Surgery Asia Pacific, saying that the biggest opportunities have emerged on both sides of the hurricane, and he has gone on to promise 1,000-bed integrated campuses in Ahmedabad and Mumbai, saying that these healthcare infrastructures will be designed to they'll be world-class, yet those facilities will be affordable. The father of the tennis player Radhika Yadav has been produced in court for shooting down his daughter in their Gurugram house while she was making breakfast by her father. Now, Deepak Yadav, 49-year-old, pulled the trigger 5 times over. 3 of those bullets landed in the back of his daughter, the tennis player daughter, who was killed inside the kitchen of their Gurugram residence. She was making breakfast at the time. She was found in a pool of blood in the kitchen with a revolver that was recovered from the living room. The father apparently earns 15 to 17 lakhs due to several rental properties across Gurugram. He owns a luxurious farmhouse as well. So was it the tennis academy that he wanted the tennis player to shut down. Do remember that she was running this tennis academy because her tennis career had come to an end due to an injury. She also had appeared in a music video, and apparently the appearance in that music video is something that the father was upset over. So was it the appearance in the music video or not closing down the tennis academy the issue that led to the man shooting his own flesh and blood? Now the Gurugram police has asked for 2 days remand of Deepak Yadav, the man who has shot his own flesh and blood, his own daughter, in the confines of their own home. Why? Because he went on to say that he was being taunted for living off the earnings of his daughter. That is the confession that he went ahead and made with the police. Let's listen in to what the police had to say.
राधिका नाम की लड़की थी और करीब 25 वर्षीय लड़की है जो कि सेक्टर 57 के किसी एरिया में रहती है। ये जो राधिका है ये टेनिस प्लेयर थी। इसके पिता के द्वारा इसको गोलियां मारी गई हैं, जिसको पुलिस के द्वारा अरेस्ट कर लिया गया है और उससे पूछताछ की गई है तो उन्होंने इस घटना को अंजाम देना स्वीकार किया है। फिलहाल जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुई है इसमें पुलिस को मालूम हुआ है कि मृतक का इन्वेस्टिगेशन की जा रही है। इन्वेस्टिगेशन फिलहाल बिल्कुल ही एक प्राइमरी स्टेज पर है। फिलहाल तक जो फैक्ट्स हैं बिल्कुल केस में क्लियर हैं। पुलिस की एक ही डायरेक्शन है, पिता के द्वारा स्वीकार किया गया इस बात को कि टेनिस एकेडमी को चलाने को लेकर के विवाद था और इसी के ऊपर उन्होंने इसी विवाद के चलते उन्होंने गोलियां चला करके हत्या की वारदात को अंजाम दिया। पुलिस के द्वारा इस घटना में आरोपी को गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया है। वेपन जो यूज़ किया गया था उसको रिकवर कर लिया गया है। वेपन जो लाइसेंसी वेपन था जो कि काफ़ी पुराना ये लाइसेंस उनको इशू हो रखा था, 2004 से उनके पास ये लाइसेंसी वेपन था। तो बाकी जो पेंडिंग जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन है पुलिस के द्वारा वो इस केस में की जा रही है। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
My colleague Shubhang will be joining us to get us the very latest in this case. Shubhang, the police has now asked for 2 days remand of Deepak Yadav. He's confessed to the crime. He's gone on to say that his daughter, who was running this tennis academy, was not closing the tennis academy, even though he had asked her to do so. And, you know, instead of, there were other measures that he could have taken in this regard. But, the most shocking incident that's come to light from Gurugram is the fact that this father, a 49-year-old father of a 25-year-old young girl, decides to shoot her, not once, not twice. He aimed at her 5 times, 3 of those bullets that landed in her back. Take us through the details of this case.
Well, definitely, Divya, this is very shocking because a father over here is being accused of killing his own daughter, and the father himself has confessed to the crime as well. Well, today, the Gurugram police have produced him, have produced the accused to the court, and they have also asked for 2 days of remand. Well, basically, they could have gone further, in fact, but only for 2 days, as we can see that the accused himself has confessed to the killing of his own daughter. So basically, now there's not too much for the police to run after, but what exactly was the motive behind this murder? That is something that is still mysterious right now, because according to the police, whatever statement